Welcome to the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. Now enjoy the show. All right, guys, I want to tell you a little bit about Type 1 Lifting. So Type 1 Lifting is a clothing brand that proceeds of the shirts, the hats, and everything else go to the Children's Diabetes Foundation. This whole t-shirt company started from me taking care of a 5-year-old girl from the emergency department at the Children's Hospital I worked at in Atlanta for a while back. I thought I needed to do a little bit more than kind of just talk about my story. So this is how I started the clothing line, because I wanted to show people that even though diabetics have this really bad disease, we can still do amazing things in our life, and diabetes won't stop us reaching our goals. So go check out type1lifting.com. And, if you have any questions, you can always reach me out on Instagram. It's Type 1 Lifting, and hope you guys enjoy the show. Hey guys, we have a new sponsor for the Type 1 Lifting podcast. The company's called Liberté Lifestyle. So Liberté is a French word meaning freedom, and the company was founded on the desire to have freedom to choose what we want to do with our lives. I actually had the owner, Nicole, on my podcast on episode 28, so if you want to go back and listen to her, she talks about how she started the company and what she wants to do in the future with the company, which is pretty cool. So they actually have knee sleeves, wrist wraps, shirts, shorts. Love the knee sleeves. I have the ice cream knee sleeves, and I love them so much. The neoprene's still good. The seams haven't split compared to other knee sleeves that I've had in the past, and I'm planning to keep these for a very, very long time. So Nicole actually gave me a promo code for you guys too. So it's all capital letters, TYPE, and the number 1. So it's Type 1. So go to libertelifestyle.com, check out what they have in the store, use the promo code Type 1, and save some coin. Now let's go to the episode. All right, guys, welcome to a very special edition of the Rig Report. I'm your host, Thomas Lennon, and my guest is my mom, Mary Lennon. How's it going today?
Very good, thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show because, we're doing a Mother's Day special, so I kind of wanted to, talk to let the people know who you are and, how you handled 4 kids at one time. And, managing an adult with diabetes too, as well.
Well, having 4 children was not so tough. It was pretty good. You guys were great kids to have, it was like you were always a lot of fun. And even with the trials and tribulations, I still look back and so grateful for you guys. So grateful. And as for you, I'm very proud of how you've handled being diagnosed at a later time in your life with diabetes. I'm so proud because you didn't let it define you. You kind of embraced it and made it empower you, which was awesome to know. To work for children, to donate money to help find cures for juvenile diabetes, even the work you've done when you were up here in Boston at the hospitals with kids with diabetes, how you encourage them and also not lectured, but counseled them on it doesn't define you. It's, it's something that you have and you just go with it, do what you want and learn how to manage everything. Not everybody's the same. Everybody has to manage their life different. So diabetes doesn't make it any different, So you should take care of yourself. So I'm very proud of you for all that work that you're done here in Massachusetts, as well as what you're doing there in Georgia.
Yeah.
Very proud of you.
Thank you very much. So going back to managing 4 kids, back when I was younger, I didn't really realize how crazy and stressful it was for you until I realized me having 2 kids. And granted, that's half of what you had to deal with. And how did you manage stressful situations or, pretty much handling four kids all at once, and like some one of us disappears, and you're like, okay, where's the other one? How did you do all that?
I have to honestly say, you guys, when it came to Dad and I was kind of like the bad cop, I guess. He was the good cop.
Yep.
So it's like, it was great because when you stand by my side, if I don't see you by my side, the consequences are grim. You guys never left my side. You know, and but you always fun. You figure we have this huge yard here in Massachusetts, and you guys, you were like adventure kids. You would be outside early in the morning, sometimes asking to have lunch outside, and you wouldn't come in till dinner. And you know, and we were involved in things, which was great too. And everybody participated in each other's you know, activities and stuff like that, which was great. And
Hmm.
and I have to say, you guys encouraged each other tremendously. And I had the pleasure of sitting back and watching, especially you mentoring, you know, like your sister for lacrosse. And I'll have a funny story is how you mentored her. You toughened her up for the lacrosse team. So the doctor went out to speak to another doctor because he thought I was abusing your sister. So I said, no, that would be her brother. He's tough on her when it came to lacrosse, which a couple of years later, she ends up on the men's lacrosse team
Yep. For
and in
D3 school.
college.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And she was their starter as a freshman, and she was their powerhouse player. It was amazing. She was the only girl on an all, you know, men's team.
Hmm.
This is what I mean. You guys always, even when the chips were down, you were always there encouraging each other, which was kind of nice. So it kind of made parenting easy until you guys got in trouble, you know?
Yeah.
Then I had to be a bad cop and, you know.
Well,
As you well know.
yeah. I always remember if you said no, I would always go to dad and he would say like something else. And like finally he realized he was catching on. He's like, wait a second, did you talk to your mom first? And we're like,
Yeah.
no. So yeah, that's you know, and we finally realized it's not gonna work. So I guess means no. So
It's like, yeah, he resorted to what your mother say.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm at I'm at that point now too as well. Um so I know you've sacrificed a lot like raising us
No,
kids. Yeah, you did. I think you did.
nah.
No?
I enjoyed what I did. I
Yeah.
enjoyed, you know, I wanted 10 kids. And, you know, but unfortunately, I could only have four. But remember, we had foster kids here too,
Yep.
which you guys, again, mentoring all four of you. When we took in four foster children from the same family, we took in four children. How you guys embraced them and made them like siblings, and they were with us for 2 years
Yeah. Yeah.
before their lives got back together again.
Yeah.
And that was great. And so, so I had 8 kids at the same time. And that's when I said, thank you, God, for only four. Because you knew better than me.
Yeah. And also I do remember like especially when I was at boot camp and like, you know, it was kind of over and, you know, you'd have, you know, people in my flight that didn't have their parents there. And so, you know, I would, you know, you would make sure, like, I would tell them, like, hey, these kids don't have like their parents with them. So you would tap their shoulder to kind of let them know, like, hey, come with us. And you know, I do remember when, you know, you had we had like four other guys with us, and we were eating Subway, and you paid for everything for lunch. And
Yes,
so, and you
yes.
were, yeah, I know. I always remembered like you being super generous to anybody that was like lending a hand, you know, and I think it's kind of rubbed off on me a little bit because sometimes I'm too generous than I should be. So, but
Yeah, that's a inherited fault, yes.
yeah. But like, where did that all come from?
We had somebody building a retaining wall here, is an example. And I would always give this guy breakfast and at lunch. Sometimes he'd be here for dinner, and I'd invite him in for dinner. And some of my siblings would say, "Why are you doing that? You're paying him to do a wall." But I relate a story that my father, if anybody came into his restaurant and they said, can you give me something? I really don't have a lot of money. He would sit them down and give them a hot meal and never charge them or say you owe me or anything like that. And because he ran a hotel bar and restaurant, and even if someone couldn't pay for a room and it was cold and snowy, wet, whatever, he'd say, "Okay, just come on till you settle yourself."
Hmm.
So he was like that. And my mom was like that too. She was very giving woman, very giving. And I guess it just rubbed off, because even my father said, "There's always someone worse off than you." Sometimes putting out a hand can lift them up. So you should try doing that in your life, because it becomes rewarding after a while. And it was. And so now this fellow that we fed and, we made him welcome, he said, "I did some landscaping for you and gardening when you weren't here." And it was absolutely stunning. And he didn't charge me for it. He says, "I just did this because you're so good to me." And, you know, and see, it comes back,
Hmm.
and you don't expect it. But it was so nice that he did that. So occasionally we invite him back and say, "Come sit on the porch, have pizza with us."
Hang out with the grandkids.
There you go. And yes, and all the grandkids knew him. The boys knew him, and he put them to work, and they'd carry these stones with him to put on the wall and stuff. And so they all knew him. The same thing when we had that people were working on the house. Same thing.
Hmm.
And when we have delivery from now, it's like everything Amazon, and these guys come and they deliver, and I go, "Would you like some water or Gatorades or anything?" They go, "Yeah, yeah. Do you have any?" I go, "Yeah." So I give it to them.
Yep.
So, and now some of even the postmen know us, and it's just nice because now we're friends. It's a friendly world, and in our little environment here, as opposed to what's going on out there now.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, and kind of going off of that. So I know you've lost little bit of weight, you know, here and there, and so and I commend you for losing all the weight, especially with having four kids. I mean, it could have been hard because like some kids are picky with eating, and so seeing you going from where you were in the beginning to losing a lot of weight was very inspiring for me. And like I was really happy that you were because you always complain about like losing like having all this weight on you and then losing all the weight, just seeing you a lot happier, which was like pretty cool to see. And so
oh,
what was your experience going from where you were to losing all that weight?
well, type 2 diabetes, one.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to go on any kind of medication, which they were going to put me on. And I said, give me a month or two, and I'll be back. And so when I went back to the doctor, I no longer, my AC1 was 5 or something like that. So anyway, but doing the weight loss made me realize how much it is important that I do this and that I do strengthening and stuff, because your dad having Parkinson's and dementia, it's I have to be on my game,
Yep.
you know,
Hmm.
and we want to stay here. We want to enjoy our home, especially dad. It's like he put a lot of effort into this house, and for as long as we could stay. And so that would, beside the type 2 diabetes being the motivator, that to get healthy, and then losing like the 130 pounds, it was like, oh, I'm better off this way for me, but also for Dad,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I can do more for him. And he
Yeah.
eats better too. So,
Very cool.
you know, yeah. So now he thinks, it's like, wow, now I got a girlfriend. Not
So,
knowing it's still me.
yeah. So, I have two last questions. One of them is, what is your definition of a mom?
What is my definition of a mom? Unconditional love. Very unconditional love. And tough love, which, it's a hard thing to do because some people, if their child is hurting, sometimes parents will do whatever they want so that they think the kid will be happy. As we all know, because we went through this,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's tough love. It's like, no, this is the way it is, and you got to be able to do that. And it's the hardest thing for a parent to do, but you know, it's something that has to be. So it's love, unconditional love, and tough love. That's what it is, you
Okay.
know.
Yep.
And just being, then you end up being extremely proud, like I am, and
Mm-hmm.
Dad, of all of you, how successful you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
What a good life, wholesome life you guys have. It's great.
Yeah.
You know.
So, last question. So, what would you tell a new mom what to expect with their whole journey through motherhood?
Um, uh, all I could say is love that child, unconditional love. Just what I told you before. Sometimes it's tough love and stuff like that. Every child is different. No kid's a textbook example.
Mm-hmm.
As we all know, it's everybody has their own issues, and it's like you help just help that child deal with who they are. It doesn't matter what other people think. It's who do you want to be? Who are you? And this and that. You let that kid be who they are and support it. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I say. Because as we know, 4 kids, 4 different personalities. What's good for one isn't necessarily good for the other.
Yep.
So, you deal with however many children you have, they're individuals in that family. As well as a family, they're also individuals with their own needs and expectations and stuff like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's about it.
Yeah. Well, Mom, I really do appreciate you taking the time and talking to me about, our Mother's Day special. So, and I'm truly grateful to have you as a mom. I love you very
Oh, thank
much.
you. I
You
love you.
know,
And where's my type 1 lifting shirt?
I'll get it. So, I've got you a bunch. So, and I think there's a lot of traits in me that have come from you, and I mean, obviously my good looks from Dad. So,
For sure.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. But I've learned a lot just from like watching you, and I truly appreciate everything you've done for me and the other three of my sisters. And thank you very much for being my mom.
Oh, thank you. I had no choice. They, you know,
All right.
but I'm very proud of you, Tommy. I'm really proud of your family. What a beautiful family. And it just shows with you and Sarah. I mean, the kids are absolutely just adorable. I miss them terribly.
Hmm.
But good job, good parenting. You could tell by how wonderful your children are.
Thanks,
So
Mom.
proud of you. Proud of you.
Appreciate it.